Greetings, my brothers and sisters, gods and goddesses, kings and queens. This is Universal Conscious Awareness with JR. I was just listening to some broadcasters, Dr. Yard's son, the one that's over in Ghana. Very interesting. Rod Hayes, Lil Rich on 363, Black Magic 363. Quite a few brothers that caught my attention, and we appreciate these brothers, Billy Carson, and all of these brothers who's, in this little struggle to awaken our brothers and sisters on this podcast is that we're now sharing today, which has been a great opportunity for brothers and sisters to get their message out and to deal with some of the brothers and the sisters, that might not be enlightened in certain subjects. And so that's what we're here for. I just want to first say this. We're in trouble. When I say we're in trouble, I mean spiritually, because there's a big spiritual war. And this war has caused Black people some of us to go into a deeper sleep. And some of us has now been able to, come up out of it and start teaching our brothers and sisters some of the things that they need to know and how they're being tricked and what's going on. When I look over there at being a fossil, President Trump, right? How this brother is very defiant and wants sovereignty over there. And I'm looking at all of these. I'm looking at France, Israel, the United States, and the Ivory Coast, that president, how they trying to bring this brother out of office by any means necessary. And how they just going to bogart this brother and tell him if he don't do it, this is going to happen. And he called all of them bluff. Of course, that China, Russia, and Korea, it's backing the brother up, which makes the West and the Europeans very, very angry. It's almost like they treating this brother like in the 16th century, like he's on a plantation and they own that plantation for being a fossil. And the president over there, Charles Ray, is telling them we don't bow down to America. Those days are over. Not just America, but a lot of countries has been over there taking their raw material. And the same way that they treat Black people on an individual level and as a group, they treat Black countries the same, domestically and internationally. So that's one of the first things we got to understand. How do they treat you? Well, they over there treating him the same way. And trust me, France and Israel couldn't be too much worse than the West. But this is a trip, man. I've been listening to the news what they're sending this brother through, all the threats, 44 assassination attempts on this brother's life, and he survives them all. They don't understand why they ain't killed him and why they can't kill him. Of course, the ancestors and the positive spirits are involved in this brother's survival, as it is in ours also. Because I ran into an incident, about 2 or 3 months ago, maybe not that long. And my ancestors basically, or the spirit, told on this person what they were up to, what they were trying to do. And this was something big. This wasn't nothing small. But I'm not going to get into that. I think the ancestors of this brother is really, really involved in his survival. Something is involved that's that surrounded this brother with a hedge, not just his army, but I mean they tried drone killings and all that, and they still can't seem to succeed in dethroning this brother. So if you've been watching these shows, well, it's on the internet, YouTube. Uh, you could just go to some of the different programs about how they're surviving over there in Africa and at this the Sharia of the SHAR. Excuse me, thinking out loud here. Also, uh, the Shiloh or something like that over there. I need to get the names uh, correct. I've been doing so much studying and I have so much information. Uh, Sometimes it kind of jams. I have to balance off that spirit that said, man, I'm working on that right now, balancing it and the information that I have to share. Uh, Back to my brother, President Ray. They sending that brother through a lot, and also the people of Babina Fossil. They are sending them through so much hell over there just because they want to become an independent nation or authority or community and nation over there, and they don't want it. They want to go there and take the gold, take the diamonds, take the crowbar, take all the strategic metals that they can get their hands on. It's almost like a bully. That bullies a 9-year-old, and he bullies a 6 or 7-year olds. And take their suckers. Every time he see them, he take their little bags of potato chips. He take their lunch at school. If they got any money, he take that. And this is what France and Israel and America remind me, and the European nation. Now, don't forget about the British. And this is what they remind me of, on how they just take what they want. You know, this is a very sick person. In my book, The Creation of the Creator, I breaks all of this down about, Yaku, Enki, NL, on how they wanted a worker and how they snatched, uh, the old ancestors, not necessarily our ancestors, and made workmen out of them and made them to pray and honor them and this sacrifice to feed them, give their best crops up, give their best animals up. And these were flesh eating, vegetable eating, fruits eating gods. They put their pants on one at a time like we do. Uh, they have bowel movements, they piss, uh, they get sick, they can. Um, these are not gods at all. But at the same time, um, when we start studying, and the book will be out real soon. I have Undisputed Lights with Eddie Dynamite. Eddie has the book now. I did the table of contents, so he's editing the whole book. It'll be another couple of weeks or so, and I'll just start doing the printing. So y'all look out because the book is coming out, The Creation of the Creator, and I have in there. I was gonna continue um, on how dangerous this European is. He was created through hatred and through murder, and this is his nature. Um, and he's one of the worst human beings on earth, just a beast that have not been here. You have different stories about how this European came into existence. Remember, a while ago, we did a podcast. Is the Europeans 4,000 years old? And I mentioned the 12 tribes of Canaan. I mentioned Yaku. I mentioned the Fugaroids, which I mentioned the Pleiades. A lot of mixture was going on. There were several different cases on different types of Europeans that was doing created around I would say 8,400 years ago. You had Yaku, you had the Figueroas that was done by Yaku. You have the Pleiades involved in a white race who was dealing with Hitler. You have NK, NL, tampering. There's so many different stories where you really don't know who's telling the truth and how much is stretched in those stories and how people might add and subtract their own meanings. Uh, but in my book, it's going to make it clear uh, how God created man from clay. Uh, and this is going to be one of the criterias that I use in the creation of the creator. Uh, this particular method that I'm going through with the readers, and also going to have it to where it can talk and you can listen to it. Uh, might even do a slide later on to take you through each page and kick it with you, where you can hear the commentator speaking on the story as you flip the pages. So we're gonna try to do some pretty good tech, so that our brothers and sisters can really get the message in this book, The Creator of the Creation of the Creator. Excuse me. Uh, our criteria that is going to be in this book. It's going to really awaken the family. Um, it's going to help them to focus on themselves from the inside out, so that they can actually see in this particular curriculum that I'm speaking on in the creation of the creator's criteria is to bring in a photograph, pictures that a person can actually see themselves as their ancestors and what they were doing back there. We are the reincarnation of our ancestors. They lived through us. We've been here millions, not millions and millions and millions of time, given each individual upon of us through our DNA, through our marriage, through our making love, a chance to experience physiology. We're here experiencing physiology now. So our next generation is gonna, and then they next, and then they next. It's no telling how many generations that it took to get you here. I'm not gonna go into the sperm, 7,700,000 such and such 77 sperms, and only one made it to the uterus to fertilize the egg. I'm not gonna get into that. Right. To be here is to be special and very special. Uh, that's very, very deep when it comes to the birth of a child and why they're here. Um, some of the things that's going to be in the creation of the Creator is I'm going to show you the holy wars and how the wars were started, how these gods was basically psychopaths. So a lot of them was arrogant. A lot of them was violent. They hated each other. They hated one another. Just like the brothers and sisters in the streets today, where you have the Crips with the Bloodstones, the Hispanics who fight each other, Israel and Palestinians. They over there fighting on the continent of Africa, and both are imposters. It don't belong to neither one of them. Those were black people over there, the original people. They just went over there and took it and took them black people and put them in what they would call their ghetto, or some subservient type of government uh, apparatus, which they're very good at. Uh, Welfare, making laws of do's and don'ts. This is everywhere. This is not in the United States. It's not just in the United States. It's in even Palestine, even over there in Arabia, Iraq and Iran, on how they treat black people in Japan, in China. There's some brothers and sisters on TV saying that they even got clubs that tells you, just like they did in the 40s and the 30s, no blacks allowed. You can only drink from this fountain. You got to go through the black back door of the order. You got to ride in the back of the bus. Well, some countries are still very, very strong on those types of behaviors toward black people that live. And whether it's overseas, whether it's in China, right here in America, of course, we know that they still haven't got over making America great again. What Trump means, make America white again. Here again, it don't belong to them. We were already here before Columbus, hundreds and millions of years before Columbus was born, before the king and the queen over there, Queen Elizabeth, Frednet, King Frednell. I think that's probably butchered his name. But anyway, like I say, I've been doing so much studying and I have so much information inside of me. I have to balance off my spirit so that I can start combining some of this spiritual food that I've been digesting, in order to regurgitate it correctly. I'm going to balance that out. My next podcast is just going to be with Under City Lights with Eddie Dynamite, and probably with King Scorpio. Um, we got a couple other brothers that we're going to bring on the panel. So we're going to start moving universal conscious awareness along with Under City Lights with Eddie Dynamite and a couple of our other brothers. So we're going to start inviting more people in. Of course, he's working and I'm working. Scorpion King is working. All the other brothers that we are inviting is they all have a job. We're not yet on the podcast here with our PayPals or cash outs and stuff like that, asking people to support us. That's something that is for each individual, each podcast, however they want to run theirs. I like getting my own money, but at the same time, the information that we're going to be sharing with y'all is going to really have a very deep effect on your spirit. And how we're going to do that is some of the subjects that we're going to be speaking on. And if you go back and look at the City Lights with Eddie Dynamite, we've got about 20 or 30 of them back there or more. We're going to start now spitting them out. There's a few little touches that we're going to do on our podcast to just kind of make it more attractive, or just get the speed up on what we want, how we want to show, how we want to come in, introduce ourselves. And right now, this is like an individual thing. Sometimes Scorpion King will be on there speaking, and Eddie Dynamite will be on his podcast speaking, and I'll be on Universal Conscious Awareness speaking. So it's just coming together, and everybody teach one, and everybody teach another. This is kind of what we're doing on our individual podcasts. I know I kind of went over a few subjects here. But I don't want you to get the book. I don't want to tell too much about it. But I've been working on it for 4 years now. Started in 2021. This is coming to 2026. So actually, it's almost taken 5 years for the creation of the Creator, to start germinating and let's just say blossoming now, so that we get the book on out to y'all. A lot of Reverend Ike, Dr. Malachi Yak, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm. I've listened to so much information. David Ike, Edward Casey, Madam Philosopher. What was her name? Anyway, I get back to that. These are some of the people that I've been studying under with their books. Most of them are dead, as you know. But it's so beautiful to listen to them speak. And you can see yourself, in the audience listening to these brothers. And Henry Clark, I mean, just beautiful, beautiful research, brothers, sisters. Francis Cresswell Wilson, um, Fannie Lou Hammer. I was listening to one of hers about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Bad sister. Uh, I'm just preparing you guys right now for the creation of the Creator. It's going to be an awesome book. Um, I wasn't going to really get into a lot of information on this particular podcast, but I just wanted to share that with y'all that the book is coming out real soon, and we got a lot of things that we're going to be doing with our podcasters. So we hope within the next year or so that this will be one of the best known podcasts that's out there. We're just right now getting it together because there's so much truth, excuse me, that we're going to be touching on, so much information. So we just wanted you to be prepared, and hopefully you guys are staying tuned with Under the City Lights with 80s Dynamite and Universal Conscious Awareness. And with that being said, y'all have a beautiful night.